Hello, and welcome to another episode of my Stellaris Let's Play. This is Northstar. I hope you folks are well, taking care of each other, being kind to yourselves. Now, as I load up the game a bit, I got some more stuff uploading. Saved the computer RAM, having the game open in the background, ate some food, got some more coffee, and rested. Had to lay down for a while to rest, because with my long COVID, my energy doesn't last long, and my ability to focus. And I'm definitely a lot tired. More tired than my last video. But I should mention before. Yeah, I've just made first contact here. Probably that's an actual spacefaring civilization, unlike this, which is just abandoned mining drones, or actually Tianki, and I lost contact with the mine drones. Probably because they changed type when it's an expansion operation versus building a base or something. I don't know. Maybe they moved into a system I had no intel on it, and that did it. I'll figure it out eventually. Work on the quest for Toxic God. In 5 months, I'll get the first thing with that. I hear that. How there's always a certain song that plays with a certain DLC. I don't want to hear that one over and over. So I'm working on establishing colony in my first second world. Technically, I got the thing for establishing colony right at the beginning of the game from the Order's habitat here. But Ep12 Prime will be my first real new colony. Population 56. I guess that includes pre-sapiens, maybe. I don't know. Or maybe that's the size of. Maybe it slowly grows up to 100. I don't know. But eventually, at some point, I'll move my capital and give this area like Ren Hesuk Prime to a vassal. After I finish the quest for Toxic God, I don't think I need to hold the Order habitat anymore. I mean, it's a valuable world, and I'm not sure other empires get the Knights jobs, but I start off with an ocean world preference, and there's a secondary species because I chose Genesis Guides, a pre-sapient species here, which is, well, it's molluscoid, and it doesn't have any, points invested in traits, so I may be able to give them aquatic fairly soon for extra output of like food, minerals, and energy on Hesuk Prime. Aquatic proles, they'll be, very good at doing worker jobs, and the game will weigh them highly for worker jobs, so not to promote to elite or specialist jobs. But if I release them as the founder species for a vassal, they would be aquatic, ocean preference, and they could take hydrocentric then. I think I could take it actually without, you can take it as long as you have ocean preference, is that right? Or do you need has trait aquatic? No, you have to have aquatic. But if the primary species empire has it, the quitting empires you release as vassals, they can take it, and then they could expand the size of Hesuk Prime with the expand planetary oceans decision, make it bigger instead of size 20, or at least in terms of districts, up to like 24 or 6 or something, 25. So that would be helpful. They also can terraform frozen. Terraform you can't, so I think you have to already be an aquatic species to even find them. So I don't know. I never seem to find them, so I'm not sure. And of course, when you release a vassal, you lose intel. At least in the past versions on their worlds. So there could be games to do that. Then destroy outposts, conquer them, create unsurveyed. I don't know. There may be ways to make the frozen things have a chance to spawn again. I'm not sure. Seems exploity. It's probably not. But the hydrocentric will allow expansion of planetary oceans, and that'll be a benefit I'll still be able to gain. They may also flood anchor the fortress station, which I suppose I could eventually mod my primary species to be aquatic as well, or at least have a subspecies. So I'm not sure that would be a terrible thing. I think I forget what flooding habitats does to non-aquatic species. I have to check, but it might not be a terrible thing. I'll have to look at the wiki and see how that interacts. Also interacts with void dwellers because I might find a void dweller empire and manage to get some of their pops. I want to put those in anchor. My last game that I wasn't doing let's play of streaming, I actually did find there's Federation's end system which has 2 guaranteed species of void dwellers, so that's a unique system. If it spawned in this galaxy, there will be at least some void dwellers somewhere, and they are more productive on habitats. They make excellent knights. At least on the habitat, you can also get knight jobs in your homeworld with certain quest outcomes if you choose certain things. Alright. Anyways. Let's see. I'm surveying the Trent system. I think this came from doing the survey planet thing, but should probably swing through here and then swing east. My envoys are busy, so I don't actually want to necessarily be making contact with another neighbor, and there's probably another one not too far this way, I guess. I don't have cluster starts, it's RAM, so it could be a long way. It could be I just have one neighbor here and the nearest one's like way out here. It could be there's a whole bunch near me. It's completely random where other homeworlds are. I wish I hadn't started on the edge of the galaxy. It's a particular problematic from its toxic god because you do give up your homeworld system. It's not just most species, maybe there's a unique modifier in your homeworld, and you get plus 30% habitability in your homeworld. So which is why usually I have 100%. It's not locked 100%, but you can have a non-adaptive species and have 100. Most species 110, which overflows the 100 cap, but you can get galactic community resolutions which reduce planet habitability or relentless industrious buildings, stuff like that. So where you could end up terraforming your homeworld to a different plant type, and that 30% habitability would still come in handy for your species that have their homeworlds there. And that also counts the pre-sapience uplift. So I can guarantee that every species of empire, every planet of empire has a species with that homeworld habitability buff. Which is really nice and underrated, especially because then you can like have non-adaptive species and terraform types more often with less penalty. Let's get a music going for you guys. Genesis instead of biogenesis, fine. I think the last one was called biogenesis. It's also worth knowing. Arctic World here. There's an event that can spawn a colony event 12 years after you found a colony, so after you finish selling, where Arctic worlds can thaw into ocean worlds potentially. Though the rewards are actually slightly better. You can either get crystal miner jobs and keep an Arctic world, or you can turn an ocean world and get something that gives minerals and alloys. Probably rather have crystal miner jobs most of the time, but that's where you either try and limit the planet thawing and then give up, or you just ignore it. Whereas if you accelerate the thawing, you can turn it into an ocean world. And tropical worlds are fairly easy to turn ocean because it's within the same category. So I could have potentially 5 ocean worlds right near my start. And it's worth it because aquatic gets bonus yields on ocean worlds. Any cold world can thaw, so it could actually be this tundra world instead. It's one more reason ocean habitability is probably one of the best to start with. You will come across aquatic species, and they'll do very well on your capital, whether it is a xenophile, whether citizens are a xenophobe, or you might have them enslaved. Aquatic species are gonna really benefit your homeworld being an ocean world. There's arguments to start with ocean worlds, or I think it's desert worlds, because there's a couple events like target terraforming that can create desert worlds. So ocean and deserts are in many ways the best starts. Arctic, because I think there might be one thing that creates an Arctic world, and that is the type that within the cold class. But generally speaking, wet or dry worlds are the best. Cold, or it's very little difference between them, but in terms of a few rare events. Oh yeah, cold worlds, you can get the unusual snow event series in cold worlds, so there's a very small differences between the categories in terms of certain events that will limit to certain planet classes, and obviously you have more chances to roll those things if your homeworld is of the right class. Where the ocean world, cold world can become an ocean world, in addition to aquatic sloping ocean worlds. So, and if there's an ocean in Paradise Empire, obviously their species will also like ocean worlds. Alright, so I have the Alliance of the True Gospel. I'm still waiting for other factions to form. It's just this one so far. They don't like that I allow robotics research. Prefer I banned it. Apparently now what happens is robot assembly just stacks with pop growth, biopop growth, so I don't think you get around overcrowding that way, but I still probably will want, in addition to like the medical centers and stuff, I'll probably want robot assembly. I think there's automation, which reduces the amount of pops you need to work district, so you can both make each pop be able to produce more value by automating and increase the number of pops of robots, both kind of an exponential effect to robotics type stuff. Automation versus the past, you can get by with a lot fewer organic pops, and you actually start with more, so the pop pressures are less. Pop growth is not quite as much king as it used to be, which is good. I thought that was always overdone. Optimal gameplay always revolved around growing your population as quick as possible, and it's still quite worthwhile, hence why I did all these luxury housing and a medical center. Probably do another luxury residences, even though I'm already capped on growth, because it'll allow me to be at capped growth with fewer pops on Hesic Prime. So won't do it immediately, but replacing the precinct house with a fourth luxury residence will allow me to send more population to Hesic Prime, where they'll add more pop growth there. So be below the maximum rate of pop growth part of the curve, so the more pops I send, the more growth I'll get. Of course, it'll be expensive since my primary species is rooted. Quadruple cost to resettle. So it's part of why I've been storing up energy, buying it occasionally and such. Surveying aggressively here, because if there's a neighbor and I want to survey worlds ahead of their science ships, a chance to get anomalies and maybe grab systems before they do. Of course, I went surveying this way, and this is where a neighbor was, so bad luck. Couldn't have known. Sort of safe scumming kind of stuff, which I didn't do. I didn't go like running the game ahead to see where my neighbors were and then go back to that. You really want to cheat. I forget if you can get achievements now in 4.0 without Iron Man. I can check. Give me a sec. Yes, you can, because I already have the first achievement for colonize New World, which I think I actually got from the Fortress Station right at game start. So yeah, I mean, if you're doing an achievement run, doing something really hard. I suppose you could try and do that. It's cheaty though, and why bother? Just enjoy the game. People get, I mean, there's literally Steam things you can install now, apparently, that will just give yourself an achievement. Some people do that. People get too obsessed with the pride of, oh, I've done all the achievements. It's like, bug off. Working those traditions. Still waiting to buy more minerals. Need to save up to expand my mining operations in the capital. Well, to increase the efficiency of them, I probably won't actually add more districts because eventually, as the prime will be where I do a lot of my mining, I'll generate energy and what food I need on my capital instead. Because there's a taking a look at the technician output. Nightly quest is a additive penalty to energy. So you use that creates a strong incentive to produce energy where you have the most added multipliers to cancel that. I not on colonies but on your homeworld. Where all jobs that produce extra. On the other hand, minerals, and food I can do perfectly well here. It's actually a decent number of agricultural districts, and let's see. I already have eco simulation. Well, and geothermal fracking. So in terms of cancel out habitability penalties with my primary species, which will eventually get to 100% habitability after the colony is, I think, 40 years old. Just through genetic memory. But yeah, I don't need more food, so probably minerals, lots of mines in this and prime. And I'll eventually retype these mines to generators, probably. But for now I need to increase the efficiency. Mining.
Anomalous readings registered.
Ah. Found anomaly. So clearly, if this is a spacefaring empire, they haven't surveyed the Elthier system. Oh, here? It's the ELTH. Okay, Elthier 3. Monoliths. Impressive structures, literal. There are 3 surface, practically begging for some archaeological work. I get bad at that, especially if I remember that gives scale society research. It'll be more valuable when I have more biologists, but that's a cool thing. Save in case I go back and like some stupid thing I need to roll back. Mistake that happens after this. Oh. Bye. Let's do that too. Save that in. If I hadn't even found other like remnant stuff, you can actually get first contacting that anomaly. Some of the ones that counts as a remnants of past intelligent civilization, the monoliths, for obvious reasons. Should probably do the monument for the uni before I go adding to. Or no, because I'm not going to have many civilians left after. Yeah, I need another temple soon-ish. Should probably stay up minerals instead. Oh, I know what the heck I should be doing. Generator district. No, it's a little early for that too. What can I replace this with? Ah! I can fit an alloy foundry here. Since I'm desperately needing more alloys. That might be more valuable. Nah, I'll just have to redevelop it later to more luxury housing. What? I think I might need a research lab next. Would prefer to be doing a materials lab to give more researcher jobs and a buff to engineers, but I haven't gotten the tech for that yet. Not this time around. I think I passed it over for a different tech. Yeah, I'll just keep saving. Keep saving minerals for that minerals specialization. That's what I should do. So that I won't have to keep buying minerals. That's the smart choice. You know what? If I redevelop this, the civilian industries, I won't really be running much of a civilian consumer goods deficit a little bit, but gotta remember I suffer a penalty to metallurgist output. There are very few ways to overcome that. Do a nightly quest. And then I can do civilian industries off-world. That's the smart move. Okay. Alloy foundries, here I come. I'll be running a consumer goods deficit, but honestly I shouldn't be selling them. And I'll put civilian industries in the order habitat before long. This population here gets bigger and bigger. And I add some research districts which consume consumer goods that it'll offset things that would have had to be a trade deficit, plant deficit otherwise. Do an alloy foundry, but you actually add to logistics use. Eat fewer things I have to import of alloy, but 12 more minerals. So, unless I'm gonna do Aster Mining Bay. Which I could do eventually, if I just want the level 1 buildings. Of course, it's not like the mineral purification plant gives minor jobs. So, well, there is the core drilling array. Well, I don't think you can put this in habitats. It requires volatile loads. So yeah, no. Alright, let's get a different song. Trail of the Galaxy. Cool. That one was getting a little old. A little loud too. So yeah. surplus doesn't seem to. You don't consume trade for planetary surpluses. Probably should to transport stuff from where there's an excess to silos or whatever. But that does mean I slightly reduce logistics use for consumer goods if I put consumer good factory here, and mainly it's just because I have a militarized economy for the moment, yes, but I'm eventually going to swap out of that. And then this will offset the nightly quest. I'll have 150 artisans still here. With Voidborn, I'll be able to add housing districts on Anchor for amenities and pop growth. It's worth noting. Why does the orders keep shift to the end of that list? Cool. Got 260 biologists now. Looks like it drew them out of civilians. At this point, they'd already typed down all the employed pops. Except the ruler ones. You know, the rich people have kids and they aren't enough what's that word? Success fail? Whatever. Fail kid or enough fail kid jobs for the children of the ruling class to keep them at that status. They have to demote. They have more kids than, I guess, replacement levels. The rich on Hesuk right now. So they generate a little bit of employment, and it takes the longest to demote a ruler of any strata, so. Boom. Bengal's doing engineering research facility. There's actually a physics and engineering one on the other world's society here. Should probably do society. Shadow play thing. I want a lot of society research, hence the xenobiologists, to uplift pre-sapiens pretty early. It's not only extra pops, you get a big chunk of union influence doing it as a Genesis guide, so it's worth it. When normally you might want to not do it for a while. Oop. I think I missed a couple days to working that Corvette. Oh well. Couldn't do it till this month anyhow. 6 days to produce. Just gonna do this plus micro. And regularly buy Corvettes. Toxic terraforming cannon discovered. Yet another one of those. Definitely want to have vassals terraform some of these for me. Take the detox perk. I really hate that you require an ascension perk to work those. And then the number of perks is so limited. Okay. Looking at it, it looks like this is a plantoid species. And they have habitats and mining stations here. to see if there's any clearly no habitable worlds. But yeah, they've already developed this system quite thoroughly, interestingly. Try and move through their borders to meet other empires, or survey planets before finish first contact for a little science ship XP. Probably go past them in case they're hostile enough that they close borders to me. This might be my last chance to, or my only chance to meet whoever's on the other side of them. So, boom. Survey what's on the way, but I said that, but actually it's probably more important to go this close to grab these systems quick. Shoot. You know what? Yeah, I'll double back. Actually. And try and grab Monarch. That'll allow me to add outposts right up to the border here. And then they can go back here and do this. That's inefficient. To manually set the Hubble. I'll survey this moon first. And this asteroid, and hope I don't find a Shatoid. Oh, this is on the way in. Ah! Perils of manually planning out the survey to save time. It's not worth it except very early game. Of course, I don't always make perfect decisions about how to plan these out, but it's just, saving enough time. Some amount of it. Better than none at all. Cool. After that, I can try and go up that way. Black hole there if I want to see if there's any possibility of getting the worm in waiting. Probably is usually very few planets around black holes, so probably just go boom, 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 ignore the black hole for now. Be awesome if I got the worm in waiting, but it's like a 1% chance in the galaxy generation. Locks it in whether you can get it or not. It's annoying. It's basically the devs getting rid of the event without actually getting rid of the event. Pisses me off they did that, but whatever. Fortunately, I have no say in the matter. Unfortunately. I don't care much about any feedback. I know about the trade deficit. Some building orbital research stations. Outposts. And what value I can of everything. These three, if I grab 3 more. It's essentially 30% of a starbase to grab 3 systems. Even if there's no habitable worlds or anything. Still beneficial. Starbases can have anchorages. They can have, I don't think they got rid of those trade hubs. Hydroponics or nebula refineries. Probably run nebula refineries in the gas cloud rather than hydroponics outside of it. Eventually, when you upgrade to starholds, you can have both nebula refineries and hydroponics. You know, it allows you to work fewer worker pops on your planets. Get some economic value of the starbases so they pay for themselves. Besides the military value. Alright. Be running a deficit on consumer goods after this. At least I won't be buying as many alloys. Ah, finally, administrative operations. Oh, wait, public works. Yeah, this will only benefit a world that's already capped on growth. It's administrative operations, interstellar. Pursuit of profit. Public works division can wait a little. It'll allow me to resell more pops to S at the prime, but I won't actually have the energy to do that until probably around the time that I do actually run that tradition. Maybe not till even later. Economy is not that strong yet. And I'm somewhat choking it with these ships that, even though they don't cost much, they cost some. 2 alloys into 1.36 influence, basically. Well, 2 alloys and like maybe 10 energy. But that only becomes a more expensive trade-off. Bigger your empire gets, so you might as well do it with your small. Can't keep up with naval power, naval coverage forever. Eventually, reach a point where I just fall behind on it. Still get more influence from being imperial than other authorities. Should be good for a while. Early expansion phase. The game kind of incentivizes being imperial in the beginning. It used to be, before they nerfed the hell out of it, that it would incentivize being feudal and imperial. So literally like with a medieval government system. A king and a medieval or a feudal organization to your society. And then later reforming into other authorities and civics and such. Ethics shifts and such. But feudal does very little value now. To show. It used to allow you to have unlimited vassals without divided patronage. Now it only gives you 1 extra. And it used to make it so you didn't have to pay uni upkeep for your leaders, no more. And you would get uni from officials, governors, no more. They nerfed it into the ground. It's ridiculous how much they... Paradox massively over nerfed that civic. The point's useless and you should never take it. Just active dead weight civic for, AI empires, so there'll be weaker competition. So it's still strategically relevant in a way, but no human player should ever be taking it. Or except outside very niche situations. You really need just 1 more vassal for some reason. Pretty much never. New faction. 1 throne group. This is the authoritarian faction. And imperialist faction call themselves Knights of the Void. Wait, I have an imperialist faction now? That's the militarist one. Technically, I guess it feeds a little bit off the authoritarian support early. but it's mainly militarist. What? 17% of our pops are militarist. How the heck did that happen? And while being a pacifist empire. It's not like I have deviance. I don't understand. This is the opposite of my governing ethics, and none of my leaders had this ethic either. There's absolutely no reason that I should have gone a militarist faction. Or have 17% of my pops already embracing it. This is probably a bug. Devs wanted initial factions to form, and this is listed as authoritarian. I'm not going to be happy unless I'm using my entire naval cap, which isn't going to happen even with the cheap ships I'm building. They're not going to be representing the council, so they're just actively harmful. But suppress them. They'll like me even less. Bigger happiness debuff and less uni, but it'll prevent the militarist faction from making up nearly as much of the population. This may even eliminate it over time. It might stop the suppression short of the actually losing the faction, because at some point I might want to swap out of pacifist, but I'll promote the authoritarian faction to further shift people out of militarist. Probably want militarism suppressed at the top of the list, because that I'll eventually stop doing it when they're tiny and at risk of disbanding entirely. Lines of the True Gospel. Not. Oh wait, their approval's 80%. Let's promote them as well. They're actually happier and authoritarian. But I have a stratified economy. Why are they not happy? See, stratified economy. This should be making the authoritarians happy. This is bugged. God, I want to do a freaking bug report, but I'll stop promoting them until I see if that actually corrects itself. I'm running a stratified society. Therefore, they should be happy. They should be at 75% approval at least. I think there's actually, they gain 10, they should be at 85. This is nonsense. Yeah, and pacifist will form soon. 25% of my pops embrace it right now. It'll be down to 20, which is fine. They'll be less happy than spiritualists for now. So coming across, well, noxious bugs that used to not be a problem and now they are. Not surprised, honestly. I don't want to frickin' submit a bug report. Tale of Night Zongchang banishment. Nate Zongchang. Turn this down, but won't. Thy reckless behavior almost brought death upon 5 of your fellow knights. Thou art of pure heart, and thy goals art noble, but transgressions against the order cannot be overlooked. The Knight Commander was stern and severe. Around him, all the knights were present, either in the flesh or via holocoms. They stood silently as the commander spoke. By my powers, I stripped thee of knighthood and banished thee from the order. May fate have mercy upon thee. Zhongcheng bowed, deposited the insignia of the order on the hangar's floor, then turned without a word and climbed aboard a small ship. Later chronicles report that banished knight Zhongcheng knew the sense to be fair, but did little to ease his grief. When one's whole life has been in service of the order, to be cut out from it is like losing a limb. As he had done so many times before, Zhongcheng flew out of the keep's hangar and into the great beyond. This time, there would be no return. Look out there, Zhongcheng. Because in the use the nameless based off the United Nations of Earth, they get all sorts of human style names, and the UNE are diverse, so you get people from all the different cultures of Earth instead of like the Commonwealth is very ethno-nationalist, and there's a prevalent tendency towards like European and white names generally because they're racist pricks, because they were found earlier in Earth's history when there were more inequalities still present, I think is the idea. So, but yeah, I shall soon get an upgrade to my Knight's Unity production, or I could choose research, but I will be choosing Uni from that event chain. Just have to wait for things to fire off. Yeah. Probably shouldn't put a meticulous scientist here. There's a small chance this will be settled. Well, this will try to... Now the xenophobe fallen, I probably would have transmit language, but no. Small chance I won't grab the system. I don't need anomalies just sitting there. I can't move from the map. They're outside my borders, so I can't study them. Well, that is, they're in another empire's borders.
System survey concluded.
Alright. I suspect what's going on is that the existence of the pre-sapients is messing things up. Doesn't think they're under stratified economy. Now, if I have some kind of non-sapient robots under servitude, or I have some kind of slavery, I'd still be able to, I think, get the stratified economy boost. But the game I should be getting the stratified economy one from all my pops being under stratified. It's ridiculous that I'm not. The game is just actively freaking a mess with all these little bugs, paradox. Not fixed, in fact, if anything. It's probably more like a paradox. If they saw this stream would try and suppress my channel, or then actually try and fix the bugs. They work with a handful of YouTubers that they like, and then try and suppress any dissent from anyone else. Even the ones who get the green light from, they don't mind reporting bugs and such, but honestly, corporations want just a handful of people that they are used to dealing with, that they can manipulate, control, and then want as few voices as possible. Same reason that YouTube seems to suppress new channels and push things towards a handful of just larger ones with the way their algorithm works. I had a research on this. Here's some this and this, where there's some asteroids to risk. Ice asteroids, anyways. I'm lucky I'll get anomalies related to First League, maybe. I don't know. I suppose the unfairness of the YouTube algorithm and how corporations operate will work in my favor if I ever get my channel to be big. Just have my doubts ever be allowed to get big enough for it to be helping rather than hurting me. It's nothing personal. It's just the company's trying to maximize profits above all else, by making it easier to deal with YouTubers by having just a handful of big names they can focus on monitoring carefully. Alright, I know I'm not the best at this, so even in a fair system, I might not be getting anywhere with this channel. It's not, I'm not saying that the channel not growing bigger is just, it was rigged. No, there's an element of not the most skilled. In my long COVID, I struggled to hopefully it doesn't cause any like trade deficit things. It's fine. Getting what minerals I can. I'm gonna be putting even more into industry soon. I'm gonna need civilian industries on anchor for too long. Do mixed industry. Most like urban expansion though. Just be one civilian industries. It's most cost effective because just have one because at least offsets a little bit of the deficit. Planet deficit. And consume minerals. I might do one astro mining base someday. We'll see.
Construction completed.
Since this is, you know, obviously the new habitat system, we can add orbitals to add district slots. To anchor eventually, so I'm not that limited. A little bit of orbital mining won't hurt. Yeah, the Knights are a little bit stronger early game because of those changes versus when you could put habitats around every planet. Stronger in the beginning, but weaker in the long run, since the long-term potential of habitats is less. Although with the 4.0 rework, it's slightly less of a nerf than it used to be. Because now you get a lot more build slots. If you have some of the districts, if you have a diversified planet. Less if you're actually, I think, just doing like the top stuff. That'd be 12 slots and it was 15. But if you're doing even two of these, you have more. So, yeah. 4.0 slightly weakens the fact that it's weaker than it used to be. But I am still annoyed. I really think you should be able to do habitats around every planet. People hate the micro with that. They just need to improve the automation for the game so people will trust the AI to handle stuff. They also need to improve the UI so you can integrate information quicker. Better UI and better automation.
We have detected an anomaly.
Ah, there is movement in the upper atmosphere of Ether 2 as though a ship were gliding hurriedly through the clouds. Pretty sure this gets me bubbles. Well, everyone calls it bubbles. But it's a space amoeba. I think that's because it's the first name on the list and most people don't bother. You can actually keep projecting the list until you say, oh, just call it, what is it, Fluffy, and be done with it or something. I forget. You get a funny thing if you keep sorting through possible names. But yeah. Pet Space Amoeba, which I think is better now with like the vivariums and such. I don't know if you can put it in a vivarium. Maybe. I have to look that up. Probably won't be doing that anomaly for a while, so I may have a brain archive before. What am I not doing? I can miss opportunities, but no. Probably not. Still waiting for the next event in the quest chain. Knights of the Toxic God quest, that is. Boom, boom. And we'll be able to expand out this way, though. This is actually now going to be a higher priority. I'll soon be able to expand to Monarch. That research station. Construction ship will get on the way there. Pursue profit, resources, and jobs will also make it a little more efficient to make alloys. And you split the debuff from funding the quest generously. Hmm. $25 ships. Not that much influence, though. A lot of places expand too, so I should probably do more soon. Need another science ship. Which means 32 more alloys. You have to buy like 15 soon enough.
System survey concluded.
Ah, the tale of Knight Zhongcheng, the sage. Cast out from the order, Zhongcheng made his way deep into a nebula. On a previous quest, he and his squire met a sage living on a secluded moon. Great was their knowledge, and greater their powers, for they belonged to a coven of shroud witches. Zhongcheng was in need of guidance, and hoped to find solace in the sage's advice. Stories tell that Zhongcheng renounced his weapons and spent months among the sage's students. On this moon, the values of the order mattered little, and while chivalry was respected, it was not an end in itself. Many were the lessons imparted by the sage, but the ambition of Zhongcheng was an unquenchable thirst. The quest called, and he would answer once more. It was late at night when the sage came to visit Zhongcheng. They handed back the weapons that the knight had abandoned, along with the data crystal. Thy squire is in grave danger. Thou art knight no more, but the young one's life rests in thy hands. Go now. The Perilous Nebula awaits. Make haste, Zhongcheng. Cool. That's just about... I should probably be cutting this video soon. I don't want to forget that I'll buy more alloys. I'm gonna buy 15 of these. I'll need more trade value store up. Probably have to sell more food. 666. People get paranoid about that number, or superstitious, although it's actually in Revelations, it's just an anagram for Nero, as in the Roman Emperor, because Revelations was basically a criticism of imperialism and empire, which is ironic because people now use it as justification for imperialism. But at least some of the crazy people who think that they'll bring about the second coming with stuff in the Middle East, they're insane. But there are people who believe that stuff legit. Like, I've met some Christian fundamentalists who are that nuts. I don't think I ever asked them about this specific thing, but they almost certainly believe that. I've lived in parts of the Midwest where, far from any jobs in my field in biology, unfortunately. I strayed in that area after grad school. It was where I could afford rent because finished grad school with very little money, and it was nearby, and parents' family did not help me with promises to help me relocate out of that area after grad school, and I borrowed as little in student loans as possible, putting all the money I made in employment while in grad school, which, mind you, I got screwed out of SSDI credit for these jobs, and I put the money into borrowing less student loans, only to then get, because of that strain in an area where I couldn't advance my career. Now I'm disabled on COVID. Eventually, the government, if they don't screw me out of this, should probably be doing a full and permanent disability loan forgiveness after I've been disabled 5 years, which is another year from now. And if the disability determination people don't fuck with me and accept the opinions of the medical experts I've seen who all agree I have a quote textbook case of long COVID. There's nothing unusual about the presentation or to suggest it's any other disease, according to the guy who was the lead on this, who, I mean, the others all agree, but he put it in very explicit terms. So, fucking government bureaucrats might try and gaslight with that, or have me see their own doctors who just say everyone's not disabled who is, or some crap. But if they don't do that, all that money put in less loans would just be forgiven disability. I don't even think it's considered taxable income like it is if you get normal loan forgiveness, so, because it wouldn't make sense to get a huge bill in taxes while disabled. Hope that's not the case, but yeah. So my whole life got screwed up by following my parents' advice to not borrow any more in student loans I need. Well, specifically might be his father's advice. Shouldn't have listened to anything he said. He was one of the key people straining me in that area after all. May have even been his plan all along. He's the kind of person who will plot against his own children, which is vicious and evil, and they're very human beings on Earth who will do things like that, but my father is one of them. Now, not all the time. Sometimes I needed to rely on his health. It depends how he's feeling about me any particular time. But if people don't suck up to him enough, he's done things to me and to my brother to actively... He's a narcissist, basically. If you don't give him his narcissistic supply, he'll attack you in various ways. He'll form conspiracies against... He doesn't do things that are obvious. He'll do subtle things that always come back to bite you, and sometimes the reveal was his plan all along later, but he's sneaky. Sneaky piece of shit. Anyways. Currently I'm on better terms with him, but that varies. Different points in my life. He's actually mellowed out as he got older, surprisingly. Which I don't understand, but whatever. Less arrogant, and he even seems a little less narcissistic than when he was younger. I do not understand it. It's not supposed to happen. Of course, maybe it's just a cover for some plot he's up to right now. Who knows? I seem to be getting along with him currently, so... I don't know. Shouldn't talk too much about that. No one wants to hear someone else's dirty laundry, right? What the heck? authoritarians should be happy with me. I am running a stratified economy. That just annoys the heck out of me. Keep hoping it'll change. It'll figure out, the game will suddenly realize, but nope. It's probably not going to. Can't buy enough alloys to get up to 100, so I'm going to have to delay the construction of the science ship another month. I have 45. Which means I could get up to 93 alloys-ish. If I'm doing multiple 5. Just not quite to 100. I need that foundry. Slowly gaining pops here. It's a lot of unemployed specialist pops grew. They demote to squires. They grow up the specialist here. We'll get more amenities. Have less of a deficit. And that should still improve stability on anchor. Actually, low pop approval right now with the unemployed specialists. They hold quite a bit of political power and they're angry because stratified economy, unemployed. I'm not even getting the benefits of stratified economy with the autocrats. It's annoying.
System survey concluded.
Cool. You don't have the alloys for this outpost necessarily right away if I do the science ship, but
Construction completed.
past time I do that science ship. Get that. This scientist gets some passive XP gain. I think being in charge of the science ship and try and go exploring. Hopefully these borders don't end up sealed, but if they do, the western borders, there's to the east. Galactic northeast, that is. Ah, the tale of Knight Zongchang. The Fae. The information led Zongchang to an asteroid belt. Asteroid field. Anchored to one of the largest rocks was the Damsel, an ancient corvette. Like damsel in distress. Next to it, another of the order's ships betrayed the presence of a knight. Worryingly, its distress beacon was active. Zongchang entered cautiously, stepping to the theater of a brutal fight. Weapon impacts, both ancient and recent, littered the walls, and fragments of robots were strewn around. A little further in, the lifeless remains of a knight of the order, and the trail of a wounded Alari beckoned Zong. Deep within, the banished knight found a body in stasis. His squire's body. Monitors showed that young Christabel Matthews was wounded, but stable. However, when Zongchang approached, the ship's security systems weren't online. A chilling voice echoed, "Step back, marauder. Thou art not welcome aboard." Stay thy weapons. I am no marauder. It's like the Marauder Empire's marauder. But yeah, clearly a dysfunctional security system. It's not working correctly. The Prosperity faction is formed, finally. Progress Promotion Council. Oh, and the next event. When did this... Oh. It's diplomatic. Sinopol, let me get a good look at thee. Indeed, please accept my apologies for the confusion. I am known as Sinopol. I am the sentient AI of this ship. How did my fellow knight die? Knight, sayest thou? Were thou related? If so, accept my condolences and another apology. I thought the intruder to be a marauder. When asked that they leave the ship, they became highly aggressive. Several of my maintenance droids were destroyed trying to stop them. My squire? What art thou doing to her? Thy squire made me realize the mistake I'd made. She had been wounded in the fight and lost consciousness soon after. I placed her in this medical stasis so that she may heal. Ever since my crew was abducted by marauders, I have been very lonely here. I hope to enjoy thy squire's company for a moment after she healed. What did the marauders do? I was hacked and taken offline when they approached, but once I overcame the hex cast upon me, hex, really? The security footage showed them capturing my crew after a fierce fight. They have probably taken them into slavery. My databanks indicate that marauders often do that. All this was long ago. It took ages to prepare myself after the hack. Many parts of my memory banks are still locked even to me because of it. But tell me, if thou art a knight, what is thy quest? We are looking for the toxic god. I have multiple records of encounters with toxic spacefaring entities. Unfortunately, most of my memories are locked. I can access the index of the records, but not the information itself. If I help thee, I want thee to take me off this ship. I long for contact with other sentient beings. Wouldst thou bring me to thy lord? Certainly, fair AI. It's not the AI's fault what happened. Forget if telling it no does anything, but whatever. If it just tries to convince you and you end up, I think you railroad into taking it either way. It's no alternative outcome. Anyways, could be wrong. Let's get right to work on the science ship. And I've established my first colony. Vent Genesis project complete. I think this gives me a scale amount of uni and such. I can come back to it later, but this video has gone way too long. A little buff to science and uni output. Mostly it just reserves districts, but I get where are the pre-sapients? There should be pre-sapients from the Genesis arc. Maybe they don't spawn until I alright. Specialization available. Guess you don't start with any. Have to upgrade the capital. Get the second one. Requires start with planetary governance, so it just requires more pops and minerals. It's gonna take a lot of minerals to develop this world. Probably want a mining district before long. So what are these pops doing? Colonists. They produce stability, infrastructure, build speed, happiness, amenities, and resummit destination chance. I have no automatic resummit because my pops are all rooted. So stability, happiness, which is buffing and non-existent, you know, and they produce a little bit of food. Like there's no other workers, so yeah, I definitely want to swap those for something more useful. Bonus, take a second to up. Oh, base amenities uses. So I am in amenities shortfall right now. Probably end up low stability in a sec once game updates things. I need a lot of this stuff, but I probably need some mines before anything else, or though some luxury residences would really help with this amenities situation and get me towards pop growth quicker. Yeah, pop growth is still very important. And if I'm at negative amenities, I'll have a huge debuff to happiness, which will make the miners not very productive. I'll actually start with luxury residences. Colony designation no longer exists, so brand new colony, not that stable. Let me saveth this to use the language of 39 pop approval rating, some suffering stability debuff. So yeah, luxury residences, and then I'll get it on my district. And resell some pops here. Oh. Will pops? Actually, it's already hurting growth. Let me resettle some civilians already. It's gonna be expensive, but necessary. Really, it's not going to tell me these different pop groups of workers, of civilians, their ethos are or anything. I want the happiest ones, which are spiritualists. So 144, 199. Why are these guys at different happiness levels? Oh, because always some of them are in a faction. Alright, well, the ones that are in a faction will be the happiest pops, so... should be this fun group here, 199 pops. And voila! Wait, why are they not here? Oh, here we go. It's taking a moment from the Perilous civilians, but yeah, that should help with the money situation and the pop growth rate. Minus 0.3 from all pops now, so better. This is still growth capped. I don't actually have the energy to send more pops than that. Oh, some of them got employed as colonists instead of civilians. Faster infrastructure build speed. Versus trade, which gives energy. I guess the food is probably more worthwhile. So, some colonists, some civilians. Civilians at least brought the amenities up to a positive number. Faster building construction is useful. Oh, they're not a mining world yet. To remember that. Well, let's make an urban world now. So it reduces all the upkeeps. And it might add the civilian output. Yep, urban. So the civilians now pursue more trade. Cool. Urban world until I actually get mines in place or start working on them. Cool. The Tale of Knight Zongchang. Homecoming. The return to the Order's Keep was momentous. There, within the Great Hall, Sinopol revealed that they had contact with an entity very similar to the Toxic God sought by the Order. However, much of the AI's memory was encrypted and would require a lot of work before the Order could access it. I have a lot of knights to work on it. As for Zongchang, he not only put his life on the line by coming back, he also managed to bring back a tangible clue and save Squire Christabel Matthews. For this, the Lord Commander took the decision to lift the banishment and dub Zongchang a knight again. And then we'll learn much from Sinopol, which I guess represents a focus everyone's excited about the science, or banish no more, rise, a knight. This is arguably better. If you consider a uni point to be worth 2 research, the buff to knights is the same either way, but you get a slightly greater benefit from the Lord Commander here. But also, it's beneficial for specializing in uni early, and then later I can do tech stuff, add labs, banish no more, rise, a knight. And Sinopol's data core, an encrypted data drive cloned from Sinopol, an AI engineered by ancient knights. Found in control of the long-lost vessel Damsel, this data core is found alone in the abandoned ship disposed long ago by marauders and contains valuable information regarding toxic spacefaring entities. So, yeah, it produces society research, cost energy upkeep, of course, if I were to exhibit it. It's a fixed amount, so I don't get the Grand Archive soon. I could just sell it. It doesn't scale with your empire size. Same with the Tales of a Mercenary. But I think building out the collection has benefits, like completing a collection. So I might want to do that before I start selling anything. I don't know. I'm not very experienced with those collection things. Not at all. This guy's not doing anything. He's about to level up. I'm gonna have him. Oops. No. Let's be ahead of research then. That other scientist there. Sooner I level the scientist up, sooner I'll see if I get anything useful. But anyways, that's enough for now. I got some stuff to look up at the very least. I might want to consider looking up stuff about collections. So I wish you folks all the best. Hope you enjoyed the video. Take care of each other. Be kind to yourselves. May you always find a guiding star to lead you home. Adieu.